Hello! I'm going to demonstrate how to make a simple fish coloring page using Photoshop. I'm selecting the US paper, 8.5 by 11, 300 dpi, and I'm going to be using mostly the pen tool and the ellipse tool. You see I'm selecting the ellipse tool from the toolbar, and I'm selecting the stroke color as black, and I will set the line width at 4.5. I will also set the fill color at white. I'm going to use the color selector to make sure I have true white. And I will just hold down my mouse and draw an oval for the fish body. It looks like a pretty good shape there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so I can work better. Next I'm going to use the ellipse tool again. I'm going to make another little oval for the lips. And when I do this, I will go over to Edit, Transform, and I will select Warp. So I want to change the shape of this oval to make a nice little lip shape for the fish so he's nice and happy, or she is nice and happy. I'll apply that. Then I'm going to go up to Layer and Duplicate Layer. And I'm going to drag that down under the first one and just kind of drag it around a bit until it's in the right place. Maybe I'll rotate it a little bit first here. Let's rotate it. There we go. That looks pretty good. There we go. That looks pretty good. Right there. Perfect. I'm going to apply that. Next I'm going to go back to the ellipse tool and do the eye. Now you can hold down your shift key to get a nice perfect circle. Then I'm going to drag that up a little bit. Put it in a good spot. Then when I do the inside of the eye, I'm going to change my fill color to black. First I'm going to add a new layer because if I don't, it'll change my first circle to black. Photoshop has a funny way of doing odd things. So there's the inside of the eye. Once again, I held down the shift tool to get a nice circle. Then I will change the fill color to white. And I will also turn off the stroke so I get just a nice cute little white highlight for his eye. And move it up a bit. There we go. We're going to use a pen tool to draw the fin here. I'm just clicking to add anchor points on just the pen tool. There we go. And I'm going to use the add anchor point tool, which you just saw me select, and I'm going to drag these around a little bit to make it look like a fin. Just kind of curve them in a bit. Then I'm going to make sure my brush size is correct. I'm using basic Photoshop brushes and it's set at size 16. And I'm going to right click and stroke path, then I'll right click and delete the path. Then I'll go back over here by the pen tool and I will select the freeform pen. I'm just going to add a few curves. Make some little lines for the fin, make it look natural. You don't have to be real precise, this will correct itself on the lines. I'm going to right click and stroke path. And then I'll right click and delete path. I'm going to go over to the eraser tool. You can see it's kind of sloppy, so I want to clean it up a bit and get rid of those unwanted lines. I'm going to move it down a little bit because I got it up a little high there. One more touch up. There we go, nice little top fin. We're going back to the pen tool. I'm going to do the bottom fin. You just left click to add your points. See the little dots appear as you add them. And I'm going to add anchor point. Click and put a point. And then you click and drag it. Right click and stroke path. And right click and delete path. And back to the freeform pen tool. Same thing as the top fin, just add a couple of curves for detail. I will right click and stroke path. Once again, right click and delete path. And of course clean up my little mess with the eraser there, make it nice and neat. And back to the pen tool. And we're just adding points. Just click, click, click. This is the tail. It looks like a pretty good sized tail there. And I'm going back to the add anchor point tool, selecting that. I'm just going to do a click and then pull those out and make a nice natural looking tail. if that's possible. And I'm going to pull that out a bit too. And then we're going to right click and stroke path, and right click and delete path. Then we're going back over to the freeform pen tool. And I'm just adding some little lines in there. Same thing I did for the top and bottom fins. Right click and stroke path, and right click and delete path. I think I was pretty neat on that one. Let's see if I have to clean up anything here. Looks pretty good. I'm going to use the brush tool and just touch up a few spots. Here on the tail, and possibly that's it. Now we're going to do our side fin with the pen tool again. So you're just clicking to add your points for... There we go. I'm going to back over to the add anchor point tool. Just adding points and pulling that out. I'm going to pull these in a little bit. And going stroke path, and then right click and delete path again. And of course back to the freeform pen tool. I know this is repetitious, but it's a very good way to learn. And we're going to right click and stroke path, and right click and delete path. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here and use my eraser tool. Clean that up a little bit, and then go to the brush. Just kind of freehand draw a line there. Then I'll clean it up a little bit with the eraser to make it nice and neat. There we go. Pretty handsome fish, I believe. Pretty cute anyway. I think the kids will enjoy coloring a fish like this. We're going to do some bubbles. We're using the ellipse tool again. And I'm just adding different size circles, each one a little smaller than the last, for some bubbles. Then I'm going to add a little highlight in the bubble. So I'm going to make that stroke on the path a lot smaller. I'm going to set it to 1 point. Actually, I have it at 1.5. I think that'll work a little bit better. I'm just drawing a teeny tiny circle inside there, the other little bubbles for a highlight. I'm going to save my work often. Then I'm going to hide these layers that I did with the bubbles. And I'm also going to hide the background layer. I'm going up to Layer, Merge Visible, and there's my fish. I'm going to double click and type in fish, and then enter, and that's my fish layer. I'm going to show my bubbles again. Bring them into view again, make them visible. I'm going to hide my fish. I'm going to hide the background layer. I'm going up to Layer and Merge Visible. There it is. And I'm going to double click, type in bubbles, enter, and that's the layer for my bubbles. Now you have a really cute coloring page for the kids. I'm going to move the fish around a little bit and the bubbles, kind of place them here and there, make it look nice. I hope this helps you, and I hope the kids enjoy it. If you make them a coloring page, maybe it'll give them something to do on a day when they're bored. Thank you very much.